Hey, welcome everybody to another Brookside's Story. I'm Quin Schultze, a member here at Brookside Christian Reformed Church on the southeast side of Grand Rapids. And with me today, special guest, good friend. I sit near him at our 10 a.m. Sunday worship. Please join us. It's Mike Brandes, B-R-A-N-D-E-S. How about that? I know how to spell your name.
It's very good.
Mike, it's so great to have you here. People see you around because you are involved a lot in the worship, especially the music side of things, occasionally praying and other things as well. But I think most people, Mike, probably don't know much about you, okay, unless they've had a conversation or been in one of your personal sessions. So let's start out with this. Where did you grow up, my friend?
Well, I'm originally from Chicago.
Me too.
All right.
Yeah.
I grew up there.
Go Cubs.
That's right. Lived on Central Park, and when I was not much of a story there, but then when I got into about 6th grade, my dad got a job here in trucking, and so we moved here where some of his family lived, and it's not very interesting story. As they say, that's the way it goes.
Okay, so Chicago, 6 years old, you remember the move a little bit. What struck you, if you remember anything at all, about Grand Rapids compared to Chi-Town?
I don't remember much at all, to be honest with you. I know that doesn't make much of a story, but no,
Yeah.
I don't. I was very young. We came here right when I was starting 7th grade, Newhall Junior High.
All right. And that's going to take us along a little bit. Say, if you want, a little bit about your family and about the faith of your family at that point.
Well, I wasn't raised in a Christian home, so at that point, I knew of God, but I wasn't what you'd call a Christian, or didn't spend much time at church or anything like that until I got a little older.
Okay, and let's get into that then. What happened when you got older? How did the Lord grab you?
Well, He really didn't grab me until I started coming here, to be honest.
To Brookside Christian Reformed Church.
That's correct.
Okay, why did you come in the door?
My wife dragged me here to see the kids. It's a true story. To see the kids in VBS. She put them in a VBS here. And,
That's Vacation Bible School.
That's right, and that's what got me here.
Okay, so you must have been in the neighborhood then.
Yep,
in general.
We lived in Wyoming almost this whole time. So.
Okay, and so we're doing VBS at Brookside. About what year is this? And then your wife drags you in.
23 years now, I believe.
Oh.
So.
Fantastic.
This is the only church I've ever belonged to. It's the only church that I've really ever known in my life. So,
thank God for your wife doing this.
Amen.
As part of your life. And the Holy Spirit working through her. What a great thing. And so you came for VBS. What exactly happened with you here? I assume you're here as a parent, and maybe you're in the final session where parents come and so on. What happened?
Well, that's correct. She made me come here to see the kids at the end. I was not involved with church. I was an enemy of Christ. I did not want to come to church. She was raised in a Christian home, but we kind of just agreed to do our own thing when it came to that. And again, thank the Lord that she kept him in there. So I came to see him and heard Pastor Paul, ironically, in a kid's message laid out for kids to understand. That's what it took for me to understand what was going on and who Jesus was.
So you may have a big head, but it's a little dense.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Just kidding you, buddy.
I got it.
All right. So that's fantastic. The Spirit just plowed right through there, opened your heart, and it's a kid's message, and you're thinking, I got to be part of this, whatever this is.
Well, something like that.
Okay.
I still was fighting it, but I heard the voice of the Lord after a while. I continued to be afraid to admit that I felt a calling, but we kept coming back. And just as we're talking right now, my friend, I heard God's voice say, I got something much better for you if you just give it a chance. And I did, and we've been here ever since.
That's great. And again, we're at Brookside Christian Reformed Church here on the southeast side of Grand Rapids near Kalamazoo and 36th. And if you come by at 10 a.m. on Sunday, it's possible that you'll see Mike up front helping to lead the worship. So you not only joined the church and got involved, but you got involved in a specific way, leading with music.
Right.
Talk about that.
Not right off the bat. I mean, I've done things I could have never imagined since I've been here. You know, I've been an elder, a deacon, leader. I've led different classes, I mean, the list goes on and on. But the greatest...
Thank you for all that.
Oh, thank the Lord. But the greatest thing is ever since I came here early on, I was involved with praise team, singing, and being a part of that. And,
Let's pick that apart a little bit, because not all churches have what's called a praise team, and people may not be familiar with what that means. I mean, isn't all music in worship praise?
Technically, yes. We just call it praise team for my part that I'm involved. We also have traditional, which is maybe the organ and more hymn type music. We have ensemble, which is more instrument led. And then we have another option, which obviously is more contemporary music, more singers, more instruments, more newer type music.
Choir. A lot of things, different things with music. You know, some churches will say, well, we do traditional music, whatever they mean by that. Others will say, well, we do contemporary music. And then people come to Brookside and they say, wait a minute, what's going on here? Is this contemporary? Is it traditional? And from week to week it's different, but also even, let's say, when you're doing the contemporary, it can be different within that particular service. Say a little bit about that.
Well, we have a great mix here, even though we like to try to keep them mostly separated, so there's always something for someone. But when we get to the different styles, maybe, we just want to have a wider reach and a range so that it may vary from week to week, but there's always something you're going to find in worship musically here at Brookside.
Yeah, so style, that's a great word, style. And so you might take a traditional hymn and just change the style on it a little bit.
Absolutely, and I've done that a lot. I was hoping when I first got the opportunity to lead the worship team, which I've been doing now at the end of this month for a year, my friend, 1 year already, and time has flown by. But that was one of the things. I didn't want to have, you can call it contemporary weekend, but I didn't want to have one or two newer songs and then fill the rest with traditional and hymns. We already have those weekends. I wanted to bring something fresh, but sometimes that does include taking some older style songs, which are known and loved, giving them a new tempo, rearranging them, bringing them up to date. So I do that quite often.
So recently in a service, you did some traditional ones, I'll call that. They've been around for a long time, hymns, whatever. And you slowed those puppies down. And I thought, what is this guy doing? He's in contemporary music, supposed to be upbeat, let's get it going, and he's slowing him down. You threw me for a loop, you rascal.
Well, see, part of mission accomplished then, because that's what I want to do. Worship is changing, okay? Worship is changing, especially on the contemporary front. So my goal, I would say, or one of the things I try to do is create an atmosphere, not so much just an expected response, a call and response, but create an atmosphere of worship where the music, it might be a brand new song that's just out, or it might be an older song with a new twist, but something to get everybody involved. They may not even know all the words to a new song, but if you create the atmosphere of worship within a service, I think that's the most important part.
It's the most important. That's good. Because worship is of a particular kind of communication. It's us before God, before the face of God, with our hearts open together, thanking God for all good things, but also, depending on the music, lamenting, grieving.
Absolutely.
And all of those emotions of the faith can be there in the music. The music can help us. Now, there's a little bit of a paradox here I'd like to talk with you about for just a little bit. When you think of changing the music a bit, some people will get upset because I say that's not the way I grew up with it, and I don't like it that way. But the other side of it is sometimes it helps us to think more deeply about what it is that we're singing. So it shakes us up just a little bit, and we might think more about the lyrics. We might think more about the meaning of the lyrics when it's changed a bit, even though too much change, of course, will throw anybody out and say, hey, this is not my church anymore. I don't like this music, or I want to go somewhere else, and that happens. And there are plenty of churches to move around to. But I think there is a paradox. On the one hand, it's difficult for us with change. On the other hand, without change, things can just become routine. Do you think so?
Oh, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. And that was one of the main things, speaking with Pastor Paul and getting this great opportunity to do it. Contemporary music isn't just adopting older stuff with a little twist to make everyone comfortable. There may be songs where you just reflect. It happens a lot in choir and in the other styles. You may have seen it this weekend. You sit and listen to the song. You contemplate. You lament. You figure out what God is doing in your life through that song. I want to create a team atmosphere in building the praise team, that we can create an atmosphere of everybody bringing their gifts together, so that you may not connect. Somebody is there that will get that style and need to hear what you're doing on that week.
By changing it.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to put up here with this video, towards the end of this video, there will be a little box that will come up with a recommended video. And the video I'm going to put there is the one of Pastor Paul and I talking earlier about worship.
Exactly.
And how to engage in worship when it tends to be a little more contemporary. I have one last thing to ask you about, which is probably the most difficult thing to talk with you about in what you do with worship for us so well, and that is how you use your body, how you use your hands, how you use your voice to encourage us along the way. Now, some other people who also sing with you will do this as well. Some, I think, are a little uncomfortable. And there are different people. I mean, you look at the congregation, some people will be raising their hands and some people not. That's okay. Do what you feel comfortable with. But how do you think about that in terms of how active you should be, both verbally and non-verbally, leading us?
Well, while I think that lies in everybody's different style, you touched on it. My style is a little bit more outgoing and leading. My arms are raised. I'm into the music. I'm singing to the Lord. I'm not just there to fulfill a spot and make the music. I'm singing to the Lord. When I bring the music that we're doing during the week to them, this is my reaching out to the Lord, and I pull everybody in. So sometimes on a quieter song, you don't see me moving around too much. Sometimes I will even, you may know this, I may even leave the microphone and just start guiding people in a part that they can sing.
Yes.
There's nothing like hearing a church full.
That's an old traditional thing, by the way.
That's right, and I don't know where I
Very
got
much.
it from, because I'm not an old traditional guy.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, when we get out there and they start singing along, and whether I see people out there just feeling it, or and they're sitting still or standing, or whether their arms are up with their eyes closed, worship is such a special time, and I'm very, very blessed to be able not only to lead here, but to be a part of bringing people to the throne through music on
Mike,
Sunday.
we are blessed to have you. You're in a tough spot. You're never going to please everybody.
Never.
With music in a church. Though, in fact, I don't know that you ever did. Because,
I don't think I did. So.
Well, back in the time of Calvin and Zwingli and others and so on, there were disagreements about music. I won't get into that, but some of the early really popular stuff around that time, actually, they took from drinking songs. Oh, boy. Get into trouble. So it's great to have you. We appreciate your work, and we appreciate you trying to finagle through when I'm sure you get different comments from people who like this and not that and this and all. And I know you listen to that, and I know it can hurt you, and I also know it can really bless you.
Well, I've been both.
Both.
So, and I'll take it. And you know what? This is such a great opportunity for me. I'll take it all.
Okay.
I'll take it all.
So let's keep some helpful responses going to Mike about things, especially when he hits it well and you say, that is good, brother. Let's get more of that. Let him know so we can do it. Now, this has been a longer video than we typically do in Brookside Story, but I really wanted to get you in here because of your service over the years, the way the Lord brought you through Brookside and Pastor Paul to the church. Your story as part of Brookside Story is just
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And I'll just
Excellent.
remind you too, if you want to add another recommended video, I did meet with the class, faith development class, and gave my whole story a couple weeks ago. So,
I saw that.
Okay.
I'll see if I can do that or not.
We can get a little more detailed in that one
Okay.
because
All right.
that tells the whole story.
All right. Great. Hey, thank you so much for watching these. If you're a member of Brookside Christian Reformed Church already, we're delighted. And we hope that these have been a blessing to you, these videos. Let us know. Again, I'm Quin Schultze. I'm in the directory. You can send me a note. You can post a note down below here on YouTube if you have a YouTube account. If you do have a YouTube, that is Google Gmail account, you can also touch down below and give us a thumbs up. Say this is thumbs up, this is a good thing. Or if you didn't like it, you can give us thumbs down. It's anonymous. And also, please subscribe so you'll get these ahead of time. We normally post them on a Thursday evening approximately, and then they get announced on Friday in the newsletter. And if you're not getting the newsletter, Inside Brookside it's called, also let me know as well on that, and we'll get you signed up for it. That's really important for you to be on that because there's other important news going on as well. So this is Brother Mike Brandis, a real blessing, part of Brookside's story. So blessings to you all.
Blessings.